All right. Thanks a lot for joining me on the Radical Fabulatorium today, Jeri. I appreciate you giving me some of your time.
Not a problem.
So I wanted to bring you in to talk about ArtsLink NB, just because what actually prompted it was I read that there was a new community studio that opened up. And I'm kind of familiar with some of the programs like the CATAPULT program and the mentorship program and the lending library. But I thought maybe it'd be cool to start talking about the studio and then maybe just kind of introduce my listeners to the ArtsLink NB, kind of everything you guys cover.
Absolutely. So ArtsLink New Brunswick is a provincial arts service organization. So what that means broadly is that we support arts and artists in the community. So we do that in three ways. We have advocacy work. So like we sit on government committees and that kind of thing. And around election time, tell people, what the arts platforms are, the different politicians, that kind of thing. That's not really my job. And then we have education work. So we do a lot of research on the state of the arts in the province. And then we have programs, which is, as Programming Director, my sort of wheelhouse. So the community studio is one of our programs. It's part of our lending library umbrella.
Okay.
Basically, we moved into our new space on Prince William in April of this year, and we have a lot more space than we did in the other spot, and we're not using it all. So we figured with the lack of affordable studio space in the city in particular, we would open that up as a flex space for our members to use as needed. So that's what that is. You can book it by going to our website. You just have to be a member, fill out a form, and you can, we give you a key, and it's basically like you have your own little space for a little while. Okay,
cool. Yeah, because a lot of folks might not realize that renting your own dedicated space as an artist, especially if you're living maybe in a smaller apartment or you just don't have the room in your house, is quite an expense, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I've talked to artists who have been working in their walk-in closets and haven't been able to do large-scale paintings. Other people who are sharing studio space with 6 or 7 other people, and it's just not sustainable, and they're paying an insane amount of money for that privilege. So hopefully this is going to sort of bridge that gap.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned large scale paintings too, because some artists do paintings that are feet by feet, 5 feet by 5 feet.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something a lot of folks probably don't think about.
Exactly.
Just having the space to get up and paint that size.
Yeah, or musicians. So we are an interdisciplinary arts association. So we have members from all disciplines. So we have musicians can come in and rehearse in there with some considerations regarding noise, because it's a commercial building. If it's after hours, no one's going to get mad probably. And then we have dancers coming in every so often. You can hold meetings there or do little artist talks or workshops. The space isn't huge, but it is, a decent sized room. And with that, you have access to all of our lending library stuff as well, as long as you tell us what you want.
Okay, cool. So that's actually interesting. Yeah. So a musician could go there if they're just rehearsing to get some ideas or some singing practice or whatever they want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, cool. And it's like a single use studio, so booked by one artist at a time.
Yes.
Okay. And you have to be a member to access the studio.
Yeah.
Maybe we can tell everyone how to become a member, because I'm sure it's probably perked up some people's ears already just knowing there's a potential rehearsal space there.
Yeah, absolutely. So membership our membership is pay what you can. But we also have, designated tiers. Basically, all you need to do to be a member is sign up. So you can go to our website, www.artslinknb.com, and click join. We have a new system right now that has a few growing pains. That's a little clunky as we fully transition over and get a new website. But you go to the website, and then you can be a professional artist, an emerging artist, a student, a friend of the arts, or an organization, I think.
Okay.
And there are, suggested amounts for each of them. I think it's $50 a year for professional, $25 for emerging, $10 for student. But we do have another pay what you can option, so that if cost is a barrier, you literally just need to sign up and tell us what you do.
Okay. So it kind of covers all the bases, no matter where you are, you're in your career or
exactly.
anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe thinking more about the lending, because you said when you're in the studio, you also have access to the lending library.
Yeah.
So maybe just because people might not know what would be in a lending library, arts related.
Yeah, for sure. The lending library is kind of my pet project, so I'm very excited about it.
Okay, cool.
So back a few years ago, basically the lending library is, we have a selection of art books and equipment for rent for free for up to 2 weeks as part of our membership. And it came about because a few years ago I was trying to organize our office and realized we had a bunch of stuff that we haven't really done anything with. So we've cataloged it all and it's all on our website. You can go online and book it. Once again, we're using a new system, so it's a little clunky, but you can book it for a certain amount of time. So as far as books, we have all of the visual and other Atlantic magazines. So Visual Arts News, we have Maritime Edit, we have Saltscapes, we have some CMag, we have some old Canadian art back issues, all the Created Here issues. And then we have art books on theory and technique. We have a lot of exhibition catalogs from artists in exhibitions in the province and across Canada. And then as far as our equipment, we have sort of two different kinds of equipment. We have documentation equipment, so you can borrow it to, help document your work, whether that's, cameras, lights, backdrops. We have a light box. We have a field recorder. We have microphones. We have tripods, that kind of thing. And then we also have equipment that is meant to be used to sort of enhance your artistic practice without buying a big piece of equipment. So we have a block press, we have a mat cutter, we have what else? We got a light table, we have a pottery wheel. So things you can borrow, if you're I want to try throwing pots, but I don't want to spend $600 or $700 on all the stuff to do it. That is some of the stuff that we've got as well.
That's really cool. And you can take the items, you don't need to use them in the studio, you can take them with you?
Correct.
Yeah.
You can, some of the things are probably easier used in the studio, but everything can be taken out.
Everything can be taken out. Cool. That's very cool. And you mentioned documenting art. So you're talking about someone who wants to take pictures of their paintings or something like that?
Yes, exactly.
That almost seems like it'd be an art form in itself.
It really is. And it's been such an issue that we actually have a whole separate program called Documentation Days. Oh. So once a month, we have our entire studio set up, the spare room. I guess we have the Flex Studio set up for documenting your work. So you can just bring it all in. It's all ready to go and we'll take the pictures and send them to you. But we also have documentation days because we're a provincial organization in the other cities in the province. And we hire a photographer and you can book a 30-minute slot. Just bring whatever you want photographed, whether it's, equipment or art or yourself. We do a lot of headshots because people have trouble with those. So yeah, lots of documentation options.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Headshots. Yeah, that's really cool. So if you're trying to get, just build because part of your portfolio is the way you look as a person.
Absolutely.
Kind of, right? Yeah. As your branding.
Yeah. So I'm a writer professionally, and, I actually took advantage of our last St. John session and had got some beautiful headshots done by Kelly Lawson, who's a photographer here. And I'm going to be using them on my website.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So are those are a recurring monthly event? Are they announced anywhere, or is it on a set schedule? Or
so the monthly one is we don't hire a photographer for that. We just have our studio set up and you can book time. It's normally the first Friday of every month.
Okay.
We haven't actually started them yet, but our first one will be in October.
Okay. Cool.
And then the other ones, we have one a year. So we just had our Fredericton session a month or two ago, and we'll have a Moncton session coming up and then a St. John session where we actually do hire a photographer and it's not just you taking your own photos.
Oh, I see. Okay. So the reoccurring one is kind of your responsibility, but you have the access to the space and the gear.
Exactly. It is all ready to go for you.
Okay. That's really cool. That's interesting. I would know. Yeah. I mean, can bands show up and do promo photos if they wanted to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Huh. And you have to be a member again to access the service.
Yeah, all of our programming is for members.
But
once again, very easy to become a member.
Yeah, very easy. That's cool. That's I wonder. This is kind of a side question, but do people ever confuse ArtsLink with Arts NB?
All the time.
All the time. I probably was one of those people when I first started Googling around.
Yeah, it's an I don't want to say it's an unfortunate name because it's a good name, but it is very easily confused with the granting body, and we have people asking what kind of grants we have available for them all the time, and we're like, I'm sorry, I think you're thinking of someone else.
Wrong. Get the grant at Arts NB, then come to us and use our equipment and studio space at ArtsLink.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
So you can combine the two, really. That's interesting. Okay. So so you don't do any grants, but you do mentorships, right?
We do. Yeah. So we have 2 mentorship streams. So one is through our CATAPULT Arts Accelerator, which I can talk about really quickly.
Sure.
So we have a session starting this Saturday, actually, but it's a 13-week business program for artists of all disciplines.
Focused on the business side of things?
Yes.
Okay.
So we teach things like marketing, branding, financial management, like writing about your work, how to build a website, that kind of thing. And then we also have art specific things like how to find arts grants and write a good grant application, or like what is copyright and how does it apply to artists, and what are your other rights and responsibilities as artists. And then we bring in artists of like different disciplines to talk about like their artistic trajectory and like how they got to where they are and how they make a living, to try to have professional artists be professional artists and be able to support themselves. So as part of that program, we have a mentorship. So both mentorships are exactly the same, just one is part of the CATAPULT program and one is standalone. They're all 1 year long mentorship. And the matching process is pretty individualized. So at the end of the program, I talk to the participants and I'm like, hey, what do you think you still need work on? Do you have anyone in mind? Like, what kind of things do you want to talk about with your mentor? And from there, we have a list of people who've signed up who want to be mentors, as well as, like people that are sort of in the back of our heads who have not, explicitly said yes, but we think they'd be a good fit. So then we pair them, and then, we pay the mentors, and there's also a $500 discretionary fund that they can use to like go to lunch together or travel to visit each other or travel somewhere together. We had one mentorship pair a little while ago take a trip to Quebec City to go to see all the art there, and that was really fun.
Cool.
So that is through the CATAPULT program, and then the exact same one is our standalone program. So that we send out a call for applications, and then we select 9 people outside of the CATAPULT program to receive those mentorships.
9 people outside of the CATAPULT. Okay, so the CATAPULT, and to get accepted into the CATAPULT, is that like a lengthy process or like a competitive process?
I wouldn't say it's lengthy, it's competitive.
Okay.
So it is application-based. The CATAPULT program and our mentorship program, I think, are our only 2 application-based and our residencies are our application-based programs. CATAPULT just keeps getting more popular. So we have anywhere between, I'd say, like 12 to 25 applicants for 8 spots.
Okay, wow, yeah.
And then the mentorship is a little less competitive, but still, we've always had more people apply than we can accept.
Okay. So is that because, like, is the CATAPULT program more competitive because it's more structured or built around the business side of things, or
maybe it's also been around for a bit longer. So our standalone mentorship is only a few years old, and I really do think that like the CATAPULT program sort of taken on a life of its own. Like people who have taken it will talk to their people that they know about it. Word of mouth is sort of our biggest promotional tool right now. So yeah, I think just people have heard about it and are waiting to take it themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, it's available to anyone in the province?
Yeah.
Okay. Do they have to travel to St. John to be involved?
Depends. So we're right now we have a completely virtual session. There is a launch day at the end where you sort of present your work to the world, and there's also a little graduation reception that is in person.
Okay,
and I think that's going to be in St. John this time, but I'm not 100% sure. So you have to travel for that. We do have travel subsidies available for the virtual sessions because we understand, that there might be some barriers there for people. And then we're also working on having a fully in-person session, which will be sort of in the different cities around the province. So that will probably be in the fall, the winter, and that will probably be in St. John.
Okay.
And I don't think there are travel subsidies for that one because it's expected to be within the province or the city.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that's really cool. And so the one-on-one mentorships, so you take in 9 people, so people can apply, but then how do you find the mentors? You just kind of have a list, or you hope people apply?
We put out a call for mentors last year. So we have a spreadsheet of people who've expressed interest in being a mentor and sort of what their areas of expertise are. And then, so I'll check that list. And then if no one is sort of standing out as a good fit for someone, I will ask if they have any, the mentee has any ideas, or I'll ask some people who are maybe in that field. I don't know a lot of, recording artists, but someone else who I know might. And then, just sort of making a decision with the person based on what they're looking for. Okay,
that's very cool. Okay, that's interesting. That's quite a few programs. So, I mean, and once you're a member, you can obviously combine and roll into these programs and take advantage of them all in one go, or different combination.
Yeah.
And you also have the Foundry. Is that another program?
We have the Foundry, and then we have our one-on-one sessions, and then we have our residencies. So those are our other 3 programs.
Okay, cool. Can we talk about the residencies for a second? Is that for people coming into New Brunswick, or is it?
No, it's for New Brunswick artists.
Okay.
So all of our funding a lot of our funding is provincial, and for the residencies, I think all of our funding is provincial. Okay. It's for New Brunswick residents only, but we have 2 residencies that we run. We run every other year, so on alternating years. This year is the Cross-Cultural Creation Residency, which takes place in partnership with la PMB, which is the Association Acadienne des Artistes de Nouveau-Brunswick. I said that wrong, but whatever, it's that. And Maui Art, which is the Indigenous Artists Organization.
Okay.
So we take 3 members from each 3 artists that are members of each organization. So that is actually starting in a couple of weeks, September 24th. We take turns hosting it. So La PMB is hosting it right now in Tracadie. So that's going to be fun. They're going to be working there for a week and a half. And then our other one is called Introspect, a nature residency, or in the case of last year, residency by the sea. And it is we are the only organization. So it's 5 artists who are working within a natural context generally, because we partner with Parks NB. So normally working on a project that's in the woods for 2 weeks.
Okay. The art is built around the nature? Or?
Not necessarily. It just has to be something that is that you can do without a lot of technology, within the constraints of normally the cabin or the authentic kind of thing.
Okay.
So yeah.
And the artists, is there any expectation attached to what the artist will come up with by the end of the residency?
So when you apply, you submit a project proposal, and some of the things that we consider when the jury is deciding what who to accept is how attainable is this? How feasible, that's the word, feasible is this? How does it work within the setting? And then how does it work within the context of other people? So we do expect you to, finish the project you proposed if we accept you, not necessarily within the couple of weeks, because we know things happen, but eventually. There's often times exhibitions that have taken place based on the residencies, so they'll show their final works in a gallery setting a year or so later.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. Are the residencies quite popular?
Yeah. Yeah. They're paid, so we pay you to make work, which is both important and fantastic.
Yep.
So yeah, they're fairly competitive. I think for our last one, which was at Cura, we had like 77 applicants.
Wow.
For 5 spots.
For 5 spots.
Yeah, that one was probably our most popular to date.
Wow. 77 for 5. Yeah. So that's a difficult decision. Do you have to jury that out, or how do you like?
Yeah, the the residencies are juried.
They're juried? Okay. Yeah. Because that's so many applications.
Yeah, and we have to wait to select the jurors until afterwards because so many New Brunswick artists apply. We don't want to pick someone who's applying.
Who's applying? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, a little conflict of interest there.
Exactly.
And it's open to both official languages?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Okay, wow. That's a lot. ArtsLink has a lot going on.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
I need an employee.
You need an employee. This is your pitch.
Someone please fund an employee for me.
What would the title be? Assistant programming?
It'd probably be like program coordinator or something.
Coordinator. Okay. Yeah.
I'm a director with no one to direct.
Director all out on your own. Yeah. That's funny. Okay, yeah, and then there's the one-on-one. So the reason I was mentioning the Foundry is because I saw John McLaughlin was on the list.
Yeah.
And from Parachute Mastering.
Yes.
And Tomato.
Yep.
I interviewed him for the show. McLaglen. What did I say? McLaughlin, yeah. I went out to his little studio in Grand Bay. Interview him.
Nice.
And super interesting. Man, he puts out great work too. Seems like every indie artist around here is going to him for mastering.
Yeah, I know, really.
Yeah. So the one-on-ones, that's just exactly what it sounds like? You just kind of match with someone? And
yeah, so we hire experts for like the day, and you can sign up for like a 30 minute to an hour slot to talk about whatever that topic is. So we had social media like a couple weeks ago, and then the next one coming up is public speaking, which should be announced today.
Oh, really?
So it'll definitely be announced by the time this is out.
Okay. Public speaking.
So like public speaking and like confidence. So it's with a CATAPULT alum and a theater artist and a sort of coach named CJ Norris, who's based out of Moncton.
Okay.
So he'll be doing a webinar as well as like one-on-one sessions on like how to convey confidence and how to present your work verbally, kind of thing.
Okay. I think that's something people wouldn't connect with, being an artist.
Yeah, I know, but it's super important.
And it freaks out a lot of people, public speaking.
Exactly.
So, okay, actually that touches on a subject that I find interesting, as I used to be a musician, and so I always relate things back to music. But any artist, and actually I can specifically remember seeing an artist in Fredericton who had no problem like promoting his table of art. Be like, come check out all these drawings I've done. And I even asked him, like, man, most people like are a little self-conscious to be so promoty.
Yeah.
So I don't know, the public speaking workshop or one-on-one would help with that, I guess.
I would hope so. Yeah. And then like anything we do on like marketing, branding, or social media can also help with that. If you're not doing it like in person, you're doing it virtually.
Okay. So. Do you notice that too, that artists don't like to self-promote?
1000%.
Do you have any thoughts on how to do you have just general thoughts on that? I find that an interesting topic.
It's so hard because yourself, like as an artist, your self-worth is so inherently tied into your work. Mm-hmm. So for like people who are, going to a day job and then like don't really care about it per se, it's less sort of emotionally fraught when someone says no. Mm-hmm. So I think that I don't know, my thought process is that you're not going to get a yes if you don't ask, mm-hmm. generally. So, it'll hurt if someone rejects you or doesn't want to buy your work, but no one's going to buy your work anyway if you don't ask people to. So you're up ahead no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially if your work it just stays in your house or basement, like you're definitely not going to sell or.
Exactly. If no one knows about you, you can't sell your work.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is like your work is valid, and your work is important, and you should know what you're worth and how to ask for it.
Mm-hmm. It's probably worth thinking about too, or realizing that like you as a person, like me as a person, we're sitting in a room right now with 1,000 CDs, and like maybe 10 to 20 of them would be CDs I'd like put in regular rotation. But like so the odds are kind of like the odds of you interacting with, I mean, it's guaranteed that not everyone's going to like your work, but the odds of you talking to someone who is going to like it is kind of low. So you kind of have to get out there in front of as many people.
Yeah.
It's just a numbers game almost.
Yeah, absolutely. And also like the more you get out there and talk to people, the more comfortable you'll get doing it. So like you're only going to get better at promoting yourself if you practice.
Yeah. I guess it probably comes down to the fear of no, or like thinking someone's going to like be harsh with their criticism towards your art for some reason.
There was a study done a while ago where like someone asked someone to make like 1,000 pots within a certain amount of time, and then like one really good pot within that same amount of time. And the people who made 1,000 pots made a better pot than that one really good pot because they were making them all the time.
That's funny. Of course, the practice aspect of it. But of course, if you're working on the one pot, you think I have all this time and focus and attention for this one pot, so it should be better. That makes me think about music again too, where you might write a quick demo of something and then you like spend days working on it, making tweaks and changes, and then you go back to your original version and you're like,
this was better.
It was better. Yeah, it was done 5 days ago.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. Oops. That's pretty interesting. Okay, so that's cool. Lots going on. ArtsLink NB. So let's remind everyone the best place to reach out is the website, artslinknb.com. Mm-hmm. Okay, and anyone can become a member. Do you have to be in New Brunswick to be a member?
You do not.
Okay, so anyone can be a member.
Yeah, we do have like a non-resident membership, but
okay. Would that be like if you're coming to stay in town for a while, you could take advantage of the facilities?
Or if you just want to support ArtsLink.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's a good
Some people do.
Yeah. It's like a rolling donation sort of thing, right?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So if you don't mind, maybe we could give everyone a little taste or teaser of your background since you started as a journalist, or you mentioned you were a writer professionally.
Yeah. So I'm a writer. I guess I got my master's at University of British Columbia back in 2015, and it was in journalism. And so after that, I decided to try to, do the daily news thing. Got a job back in St. John, of all places. I didn't expect to be coming back here.
You went St. John to BC to St. John?
Yeah, sort of. There was a little bit of moving around between, but I was applying for jobs across Canada, and I got a communications internship at Enterprise St. John, the economic development agency. Was there for 6 months, and then CBC was like, we need casual employees, and you're a journalist, so please come work for us. And so I did that for 4 years, along with freelancing for a few other publications. But because it was inconsistent, like I definitely understand the hustle culture mindset of like being a self-employed person. Because, sometimes I was getting like $800 a month, and then sometimes I was getting, because CBC pays really well when you're working, sometimes I was getting, $4,000 a month. But when the ArtsLink job came up, it was a no-brainer to have sort of stable employment. Yeah. And then from there, I learned more about the like arts writing side. So I've been writing for Visual Arts News for quite a while. I wrote quite a few pieces for Created Here, like about other artists. I wrote I've written like about music, about visual art, and then also I've started doing a little bit more creative writings and memoir style writing. So I got an Arts NB grant a little while ago to write my first nonfiction book, which is going extremely slowly. That was back in 2022, and then I immediately got pregnant and had a kid. So that's been kind of on the back burner, but trying to fit everything in is, a challenge.
Yeah, it's a hustle. Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Okay, so writing nonfiction. So do you mind what's the topic going to be? Do you mind spilling the beans? Or?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe it'll force me to actually get it done. So I'm writing a nonfiction book about demystifying the idea of death and my own anxiety surrounding the fact that everyone I know and love will die. So it's a little bit of like a personal history of like my mental health journey with anxiety, as well as like a science journalism kind of book about like literally like what happens when you die, what are the steps like involved in like caring for the body afterwards, and then like philosophical, like what happens at the end, and then a bit about like how do you pick up the pieces afterwards, like grief, sort of how to kind of thing.
Okay. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind picking your brain about that a little bit. So I heard this theory. I don't know who it was. What's the name of this person? I feel like the name of the title of his book was The Worm at the Core or something like that. Anyways, he's basically saying like most people live their life doing things just to avoid realizing that they're going to die. And, yeah.
Yeah, I'm currently reading a book. It's quite dry, so it's taking me a while to get through it, but it's called The Denial of Death by Ernest Becker, I think.
Ernest Becker.
Yeah.
That's who I was thinking about. Yeah, The Denial of Death. Okay. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's kind of like...
I do.
True?
I mean, I feel like both personally and probably for a lot of people, that is the case. Uh-huh. I know that I stay very, very busy, so I don't have to think about these things.
Me and my wife will talk about it because I'm like we have, we like anyone, we collect tons of knickknacks. And sometimes I'll like find a box that we haven't opened for a decade, and I'm like, we're just leaving this here for our new daughter to go through when we're dead. And it concerns me in that way. But my wife's like, yeah, but we'll be dead. Yeah, but we're gonna just leave. This is all gonna be garbage to other people. She's like, yeah, but we'll be dead. So I mean, that's their problem. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so do you have a deadline to have to finish this book?
I told them I'd get it done in a year, and that was 3 years ago. So, I mean, with Arts NB, not ArtsLink NB, but with the granting system, they're pretty flexible. You just can't apply for another creation grant until you finish the project that you said you were going to do. So
okay.
I'm not applying for anything new until I finish this, which will hopefully be done in the next year.
Gotcha. Okay, that's cool. I'd be interested to read the book when it comes out. So awesome. I'll have to have you back on the show. Actually.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd love to interview. I've been wanting to interview more authors. So
nice.
That'd be great. I noticed too, you had some stuff in the zine, It's Burning Off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you were mentioning CBC, because I've had Julia Wright on the show.
Yep.
I imagine you guys crossed paths.
Oh yeah, Julia and I are good friends.
Yeah. Okay. So then you put a couple articles for her zine, right?
Yeah.
So what was that all about? What was that like?
Yeah, it's super great because it is very low. I don't want to say low stakes because obviously that makes it sound unimportant, but like it's experimental. So it gives me the freedom to like try to, or just publish some poetry or publish short stories that I've written that are fiction based, which is not normally my wheelhouse. And Julia is incredible to work with. She's a great human. So it's nice to be part of something like that.
Yeah, cool. That's a good description for her, a great human.
Yeah. I mean, it's accurate.
Yeah. So you submit the writings to the zine and is that kind of all, like, or you're not involved in making the zine per se?
No.
Okay.
I've asked, and but like I've offered and then remembered, how limited my time is. Sure. That I probably shouldn't take on another task.
That's another thing we're thinking about when you're an artist or an entrepreneur is like, it's so easy to give away your time that you forget you don't even have time to give away.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel that way all the time scheduling interviews sometimes. I'm like, what have I done? 5 interviews this week?
Yeah. Or like, especially if you're applying for things that are application based because you're not going to get all of them. But then if you do get all of them, you're like, what have I done?
Yeah. It's like going for 4 job interviews and getting them all.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's funny. It's a good problem to have sometimes, but it's also stressful.
Yeah.
I did mean to bring it up earlier and I can't remember the name of it, but I know there was a report that ArtsLink NB put out, wasn't there? About like some of the struggles or difficulties in the industry?
Yeah. So the status of the artist report, that was a few years ago. And then more recently there was, I can't remember the name of it. It's blue. I
had it pulled up and then I dropped it on me, or dropped the ball here. But I wouldn't mind talking about the status of the artist because my other job is with Music New Brunswick. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of waiting on our end too. We're waiting to see how status of the artist unfolds and plays out. I don't know. Do you have any details or thoughts there?
I mean, I am not super involved with it. If you did want to have someone come on to talk about the entire status of the artist, then that would be our executive director, Julie.
Okay.
But all I can say is that, this has been many, many, many years in the making. I think starting in like 2014 or 2015.
Oh, really? That's when it kicked off?
We've been working on sort of the report and then the recommendations and then sort of getting the government to actually put those recommendations into practice. And one of the things was adopt legislation. So with the new government, there's now a law that says that, or called the Status of the Artist, that says that, artists are working professionals. It's a job, and mandates that you pay fair fees.
Okay. Yeah, that's really great to hear, really, because because it is a job.
Yeah, exactly, because it's right.
Yeah, it is a job.
But there's a lot of questions right now about like what that will mean for organizations that don't have the funding to pay artist fees, and like, will funding increase? So we're trying to sort of sort through that. There will be an accreditation process eventually as well, so that like organizations will be tasked, like ArtsLink will be tasked with like creating a sort of accreditation for artists, so people would come to us and we'd be like, have you met this criteria? And then you are officially an artist.
Okay.
But we're not sure what that's going to look like yet either.
Okay.
Lots of unknowns right now.
Yeah, lots of unknowns, but steps in the right direction. I didn't realize it's been such a long journey for that.
Yeah.
Wow, 2013. I'm glad to hear it's making progress then.
Yeah. Might have been a little later, but I feel like that's pretty close to accurate.
Okay, that's really cool. Wow, that's awesome. So, you pretty much answered all the questions I think I had about ArtsLink. Did we miss any of the programs? You talked, or you brought up the Foundry super briefly, so I can just mention that let's go into that. Yeah,
that's our online course repository. So it's all virtual asynchronous videos. So you can take the courses at your own time. They're video courses with mostly New Brunswick-based instructors.
Okay.
And they're separated into modules. So you basically sign up for an account if you're a member, and then you can go in and like you watch the first little video, and then there's a little quiz, and then you watch the next one, and then there's a little quiz, and then So we have courses on topics like you mentioned, recording and mastering. We have like documenting your work. We have anti-oppression. We have how to use our lending library, although that might not be as up to date because we are moving to a new system. Mm-hmm. We have business skills. I teach a course on like sort of business basics. Lots of different things.
And a social media one?
Yes, we do have a social media one.
I'd imagine could be popular.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's I think that one's run by Kate Milbury from Strange Grooves.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like artists and musicians, the social media game is always like perplexing. People trying to think how they can crack it. Yeah,
and like not having the time to devote to it, or not wanting to devote time to it because you're one person and it's not where you want to be. Mm-hmm. But it is kind of important. The main thing I'd say about social media is you don't have to be there, but if you do want to, there are some things that can make it easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't have to be there, but I think people rely on it so much to get their art out there, right? I mean, kind of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's a tool, and it can be very useful if you know how to use it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that'd be good. I would imagine that'd be a good program to take then.
Yeah.
So do you, I guess I don't know if this is the right term or not. Like in music, musicians can have managers. Mm-hmm. Does ArtsLink NB offer any sort of like, are there artist managers? Is that even a thing? Like, I guess I think visual artists, but.
I don't know if there are managers as much as like, for visual artists, there would be like gallerists who would represent you, and they would sell your work. But that's more of like it's more of like a sales relationship than a representation, I would say. Okay,
sales. So they probably like getting your art in front of a curator or someone who's making decisions.
Yep.
For studio.
That can curate. Or curators could be, I guess, also in that role. It's I don't know. It's less cut and dry than I think the music industry is.
Yeah, I think it's set up differently. Yeah, it sounds like it. Okay, that's interesting. that's cool. Okay, yeah. What about the Arts Atlantic Symposium? I think that's the last thing I saw that I didn't ask about on the website.
Yeah, so it's a biennial, or I guess in this case triennial, because we are switching it to 3 years from the last one, and then it'll go back to every 2 years. But it is a regional arts symposium. It takes place over a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday generally. And it's been in St. John in 2022 and then in Moncton in 2024. I don't know if I can say, we know where the next one's going to be, but I don't know if I can say yet.
Okay.
But it will be in 2027 in probably the fall.
Okay.
And yeah, it's going to be in New Brunswick, and we're going to have a good time. It's a lot of professional development work as well as like a public arts festival. So we have around 250 people coming in across the Atlantic region.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can people like submit to have their art shown or anything? Like,
absolutely. Yeah. So we'll be putting out a call eventually. I don't know when. Yeah. That feels so far in the future right now, but we'll be putting out a call for submissions for people who want to do installations during the course of the week, or if they want to submit, like do workshops or talks. And then, yeah, from there, it's a juried process as well. So a jury of people from across the region will be deciding.
Okay. Wow, that sounds exciting. So that's in 2027.
Yes.
Okay, but you won't spill the beans on the location?
Not yet, I don't think.
Yeah, darn. Okay, cool, awesome. So yeah, artslinknb.com is the best place, I would imagine, for anyone to go check out.
Yep.
And of course, sign up to become a member. Or just a rolling donation, why not, right? Help out the art scene.
Absolutely.
And what if someone wants to check out your work specifically?
I think my website is back up and running. It's jericho-knopp.com.
Jericho-knopp.com.
This will give me a push to make sure it's up to date.
Yes. And don't forget to check out, do you go by Jericho or Jeri generally?
I go by Jeri generally, but Jericho is my byline and my professional name. But no one that I know calls me that in real life.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. But we can expect Jericho's first novel, nonfiction book, to be out any day now.
I mean, maybe. After I write it, I have to find a publisher. So
there's a publisher around here, isn't there?
There's a few.
Yeah, there's a few, right? There we go. Okay, awesome. Well, thanks a lot for coming in, Jeri. Really appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I feel like I've learned a ton, and I'm excited. I'll put anyone who wants to reach out to me here too, j@tfmh.ca, and then I'll put links and stuff to what we talked about down below.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.